Howdy friends, it is the new moon in Cancer, the second one in 2020 tonight. So I just wanted to do a more traditional style video, one that we can just focus on the messages that the cards are bringing us, and we can just spend some time together kind of reading into our dream world. Now that the space is all cleansed, I'm sure that you've seen pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And whichever one is calling towards you and allowing you to feel connected and feel that there are messages about your dream states and what your dreams mean in one of these 3 piles, then you can go to the timestamp, which will be in the description as usual. Otherwise, we're going to get into pile 1. Howdy, pile 1. If you selected pile 1 or this little white stone, then this is going to be your dream reading. So, as usual, when I do videos in this style, we're going to try and be cognizant of the space because I don't really like the cards to go off the side. So, forgive me if any of the cards are not completely in view this time. And I've already channeled the cards. I debated back and forth whether or not I was going to do that for this video, but I feel like laying them all out for you so that you can get an idea of what is going on from the beginning and kind of allowing you to see the energies. So I'm going to start laying them out. These cards that are circles, I'm not going to take them reversed because they're oracle cards, but these are cards that I created. And then we also have these cards from the Angel Tarot by Jane Wallace, and I am going to keep the reversals on this. And then we have more tarot, which is from the Wildwood Tarot, and these cards are just a regular tarot deck. So we have I'll introduce them and then I'll start getting into messages that are starting to come through. So we have, I trust my instincts and seek out my intuitive guidance. When the universe gives me signs, I listen with my heart. So these are connected to your heart chakra. Usually our dreams are coming in through our crown chakra and our third eye. A lot of times people talk about visions being a part of their dreams. So this is also telling me that this is connecting down into your heart. And your heart may be trying to communicate like through your higher self with your dreamscape. So we also have, I take time to cleanse my space and surroundings. I feel like this is much more physical. This has to do with like the routines and the different physical like things that you do when you get up in the morning or when you go to sleep at night. So these actual environmental spaces that may be influencing your dream state. This also may be talking about the fact that your environment may be trying to communicate to you through your dreamscape, like about certain things in your environment that you need to pay attention to. Then we also have, I am not too sensitive for having intense emotions. So this is definitely talking about your heart chakra, again with this green color coming out. So we'll get into that in a minute. We have the 8 of Pentacles, which says dedication, but I have this a little bit covered up so that we can get all the cards in. Just so you know that's there. Actually, I'll put this on top. So we have 8 of Pentacles that says dedication, and I feel like this one's kind of out by itself. I just kind of intuitively laid these all out, but I feel like this one is outside itself because this is talking about shadow work that may be revealed through your dream space. I do feel like your dreams are a lot more emotional. You may have physical sensations in your dreams as well. I know some people, dreams are purely visual or purely kind of like an auditory experience or something like that, but for you I do feel like there's a lot more of a physical sensation. So if you keep a dream journal, if you keep track of how your dreams manifest for you, I would recommend keeping track of how they make you feel when you are in them. So that is something to keep note of. We have the 6 of Swords in reverse, which says resolution. 7 of Pentacles in reverse, which says vision. So quite a few reverse energies over here. This one is the Knight of Wands or the Knight of Bows, and it's the Fox, and that is also in reverse. And I feel like this may be a certain aspect of yourself rather than being another person. I do feel like this is part of your own psyche or your own personality that is trying to come through and trying to make space in your personal self. I also kind of want to get a card to just see if that has to do with transformation. Yeah, Okay, there we have just confirmation for that card. This has to do, you may have been seeing the Eight of Cups a lot. I am getting that this may be a card that is kind of attracted to you in some form, or is like following you around in some way. So because of this like rebirth energy that is happening with you, I feel like a new side of yourself is being opened up, and you are coming into contact with that version of yourself, and it's just coming to you through dreams. So through the emotions specifically that you're having in these dreams as well, there is a big part of your emotional world that is connected in with your dream space. So that is something to keep in mind. And I'm going to move this card out of the way a little bit because it is just a little bit secondary to this reading. I don't think it has too much to do with the rest of the spread, and I just want you to be able to see everything. So we have the Ten of Cups upright, and it says happiness, and then we have the Ace of Wands or Ace of Bows, and it says spark of life. So I think we have a good balance between all of the elements here, so there's not one that's particularly standing out to me. I do think that this has a lot to do with closing out an emotional cycle, especially with this I am not too sensitive for having intense emotions card coming up, because when you have these emotions that are very fluid in your energy system, these emotions that have a lot of power, because you see this water is not passive. This is water that is flowing. It has life, it has vitality. And while this says happiness on it, I do feel like this is you searching for happiness, not necessarily meeting it. So for a lot of you, this could be, okay, also with this Eight of Pentacles, usually this is talking about more of a career environment, but I feel like in this term, because of the word dedication that is here, being a key word for this card, I feel like this is trying to show you how your manifestations and how your dedication to your manifestations and the work that you're doing in your everyday life are starting to manifest in your emotional realm. So I think that this is talking about certain emotional versions of yourself that you could release and that you have been trying to release. Also, with this card talking about your instincts and your intuitive guidance and listening with your heart, it's because your heart is showing how your heart is still attached to certain outcomes and certain manifestations that you may have tried to bring in the past. So let's say you're having a lot of dreams about exes, about ex-friends, about ex versions of yourself as well. So like, maybe if you've done something specific to your physical appearance, having in that dream the awareness that you are a past version of yourself, that may be happening for you a lot because you are trying to show yourself, your higher guidance is trying to show you where you may still be attached to certain versions of yourself and certain emotional versions of yourself. Sometimes it is really hard for us to reconstruct the narratives, especially emotional narratives that we've built up for ourselves, without releasing and fully acknowledging where our emotional self was specifically in the past. So how that emotional self was in a concrete form. And sometimes our brain's way and our spiritual higher self's way of reconciling with the current experience that we are living, sometimes the way that that turns out is through our dream world, through going back through old paradigms, old played out scenarios that we've already been through, or similar ones to that. That could also be connecting to past lives that parallel the lessons that you've been trying to learn in this life. So you also could have kind of unfamiliar but almost similar experiences in your dream world. So like you could be like in a building or in a place where you just know, okay, this is like school for me or something, but it's not a building or an experience that you've ever actually been in this reality. And it's because you're connecting to past live versions of yourself where you've played out similar scenarios. That's also why I think that this Seven of Pentacles is in reverse, because it's showing you that the vision, that the things that you're seeing in this dream world are not quite matching up to what has happened. And also, since you have the Eight of Pentacles and then the Seven of Pentacles here that's in reverse, it's like you can't quite do the shadow work. You can't quite finish out that emotional happiness that you're seeking and find that like emotional fulfillment that you're looking for and that happiness in this reality without having gone back to the step before the 8 where you're doing the work. You have to go back and see what got you to the place where you're going to start doing this work. And that's why also the 6 of Swords, this resolution, is in reverse. It's not quite here yet. You haven't quite found that emotional resolution through the dreams that you've been taking care of or experiencing. I feel that your dreams are something that you should be paying more attention to, and they're something that right now they may linger in your thought space in the morning. I do feel like there's something that kind of follow you throughout the day, so they're not things that you are really all that great at shedding. So if you have a dream that is very emotionally intense for you and has an emotional response for you, it's hard for you to ignore it or forget it. I am being called to share with you that you need to pay attention to the emotional responses that you're having, because you're going to be able to release them out of your energetic system and out of your physical body, like being processed by your physical body, if you release and if you start to keep track of them and maybe talk about them or talk through them or something, whether that be within yourself to be able to release them or with another person. So if you have another friend or another person in your life that is interested in doing dream work or like talking out dreams or like just discussing that with you, I'm also feeling for some of you this could be a sibling. Talking to this person and kind of getting out whatever you are intuiting in your dreams or from your dream world will be really helpful to kind of validate a lot of the messages that you are receiving. So the Ace of Wands or the Ace of Bows, the spark of life. I feel like these 2 cards are really representing how this is manifesting in your reality, in your physical world right now, because I also got the sense for this pile that while you are trying to manifest and you're trying to get an idea of what you're manifesting in the dream space, it's like being very curious, trying to see what's next. I feel like you're a little bit antsy or a little bit restless, trying to figure out what is coming to fruition in your real life, or in your day-to-day, like earthly life. And so you're getting a lot of divine inspiration and a lot of divine creation energy coming to you, but with this Knight of Wands in reverse representing you in the physical, I do feel that you are not taking enough time to establish these routines that are going to enable you to carry out a lot of the divine inspiration that you need. And so you haven't, like this card references as well, I take time to cleanse my space and surroundings. You aren't doing the kind of cleansing that is going to enable you to have the time and have the motivation and the skills to use all the resources that you're being provided with to act out this divine inspiration. So I feel that if there are like creative projects, if there are conversations, if there are kind of goals and dreams and passions that you want to chase and that your dreams are inspiring and motivating you to pursue, you're not able to fully realize the potential of that because of the way that you aren't getting, I feel like possibly for this group you're not getting enough sleep. I did hear the word restless as I was channeling the pile. And so I feel that there is a certain amount of like possibly insomnia that is kind of blocking you from being able to carry out the things that you need to carry out in your day-to-day life. So getting some kind of like routine established and figuring out how you got to the place where you, or how you can get to the place where you want to be able to manifest the things that you want to manifest. And so a lot of this is going to be dealing with the emotions, dealing with the past paradigms of self that are kind of gumming up your current energy system. One last message before I close this pile out. I do feel that your guides and your ancestors are asking, I don't know why for a lot of you this does feel a lot more ancestral, that your ancestors are kind of guiding you through your dream space right now, but your nighttime routine before you go to sleep, be very cognizant of what you are putting into your body, what your energetic signature is being exposed to before you go to sleep. So if you do take in substances, which is normal, But if you take in, like, if you have a drink before you go to bed, or if you smoke before you go to bed, or do any kind of thing, even if you eat pretty late at night before you go to sleep, someone's asking for some of you to either like take more baths or showers, or like kind of respect your sleep space in terms of like what kind of dirt and what kind of things you're bringing into it. That could also be thoughts, but hydrating yourself, whether that be like taking a bath, taking a shower, whatever, cleansing yourself before you go to sleep, or drinking enough water before you go to sleep, so that you're not waking up or like really parched in the morning. Just taking care of those kind of basic needs. For some reason, water is standing out a lot to me, but specifically what you're taking into your body. And also for some of you, doing yoga before you sleep, before you relax at night, because I am feeling that there is some stiffness in your body that is not fully getting rested out because you aren't taking the time to stretch out and get that energy flowing in your physical body. So there's something about just your physical body and the emotional self that aren't like matching up. And once you get those things flowing, like kind of like channels and rivers in your body, if you think about it like that, those systems are going to be able to not be quite as gummed up, so that you can understand the messages and the guidance and the manifestations that you're trying to be pushed towards right now in your life. So I hope that this resonated. I hope that this helped you understand the ways in which you are turning over into a new version of yourself, embracing different versions of yourself and integrating those as well. Otherwise, all of my information is in the description. I want to thank your higher wisdom, ancestors, guides, higher self for coming through and facilitating this reading, as well as my own. And otherwise, I and telling you to stay safe and just offer you my gratitude for being here today. Hello, Pile 2. If you selected Pile 2 or this gold obsidian, then this is going to be your dream reading. So when we're talking about the dreams, we are talking about the subconscious mind. We're talking about the ways that we subtly interpret reality and then take it in and totally internalize it and personalize it and kind of understand how it affects our individual self and our individual goals spiritually and physically. So dream work is something that I am not all that familiar with, but I have done some work with, and it's always been something that's really intrigued me because of the way that it manifests in religious and non-religious spaces, and it's something that is widely kind of misunderstood. So I want to get all the cards out for you today and just get you kind of a closer look at what your dreams are trying to communicate with you. And I know that there is a spirit guide that's come through for a lot of you. Okay, that's so interesting. All three of these cards are relatively the same color, which is that purple and yellow and then that pink color. So this is kind of connecting all of your chakras, because the purple is the crown chakra, the one at the top, receiving that spiritual guidance, that spiritual information, and then integrating it down through our physical body, which is going to be the center, the solar plexus, our willpower, our drive, our personal like interactions with this physical plane, explaining our own like spiritual significance in this world, what we want to communicate. And then also those lower chakra energies of the root, which is how we manifest and how we feel safe and comfortable to express ourselves and passionate about those expressions. So I feel like this is getting you in touch. Your dreams are very much so getting you in touch with how your human experience has been shaped from a physical a spiritual perspective, but yes, through the physical. So I feel like a lot of you are a very highly spiritual group. You are people that also likely do dream work and could possibly be well versed in astral projection. And something that I am picking up right now is that you do need to have more protection around your sleep space. So not all of you, and I don't want to disempower anybody by bringing this up, but I do feel that a sleep space is a sacred space, and some of you need to treat it more as such. Your sleep space is a place where, here this card even says, I am infinite. You expand in your dream state. You have the conscious awareness, especially since you are doing dream work, you also likely do energy work. So setting a safe space and setting an intention around your dream space, around your sleep space, to be divinely protected, calling in your guidance, calling in on deities that you may work with that offer protection, is going to be imperative, at least at the time that you're seeing this video. There's something that you may have been having a lot more like night terror type things, because you also did get this card, I am a champion of love, I don't give power to fear, and this is something that was inspired by my own dream work. When you come into contact with lower vibrational frequencies on the spiritual plane, in the other dimensional realities that you enter into in the dream world, you are going to come across different vibrational beings that rely on harboring your fear or your fearful reactions to gain their own power and disempower you. And so that is why it is important to remain and come from a place of love and loving response in your dream world. So when you have dreams that you instantly feel uncomfortable in, or you feel fearful, recognizing, like trying to get to a lucid state in that dream to control that outcome of how you are reacting to those fear-based energies, and then transforming them with love to either bring in, like I said, that lucid state if you have more of a grasp onto your lucid dreaming self, and that like lucid higher consciousness integrating the subconscious and the conscious. Doing that in a dream to bring about this feeling of love, to kind of control that narrative, is going to really help you. This card also says, I deserve more than what I am accepting right now. So I do believe that this is trying to reveal to you places with which you may have kind of sold yourself short in the physical. And I want to continue pulling cards before I go too much into that, because I do have, okay, yeah. I don't know if you resonate with the twin flame journey, but that was something that immediately stuck out to me for this group. That may be where your spirituality kind of kick-started, or at least where you are deepening your spirituality at this point. I do feel like this group is ascending in some way. You are kind of reaching higher levels of consciousness and bringing in that spiritual self, and that's also why you may need this protection, because when we undergo spiritual transformation, it does make our energy more vulnerable to fear-based energies that are going to try and pull us back down to the vibration that we have just kind of pushed out of. So in the dream state, you are coming into a closer and better relationship with your spiritual team as well. You may be meeting spirit guides in your dreams, or meeting ancestors that are aiding you in your spiritual path, in your spiritual journey, and they're trying to transmit to you extremely important, vulnerable, and like sensitive material that also may be possibly time sensitive, is something that I'm hearing as well. With this King of Cups being in the reverse, I do feel that some of these messages aren't fully reaching you, or they feel that these messages aren't reaching the conscious layers of your reality that they need to reach in order to create this change and allow you to continue walking this spiritual path and feeling like you have a committed team, because this card says commitment. So this is talking about also like our emotional selves not fully matching up with our spiritual selves, because the element of water is our intuition, being able to reach our intuition, being able to reach our intuitive guidance. So I feel also you have the Star card here, which is another reflection of that, like intuition, being able to reach your higher guidance. That your higher guidance, I don't know if you can see, let's try and make it so you can see, but this person is walking through this really thick and brambly forest, and above there are all these stars that are coming together, that are aligning, that are showing the light and transmitting light codes through the dark. And I feel that, yes, you are sleeping at night, you're sleeping through the darkness, and I think that there's some, poetic justice that you could do to that. But while you are going through this dark and thick and brambly patch of kind of that ascension period, where you're kind of shedding all of these thicker, denser, heavier energies that are no longer serving you, you may feel alone. You may feel disconnected from spirit. This is something that you can see time and time again with those spiritual ascended masters, people who get closer to spirit, people that get more connected in with their creative source and the creative energies that have formed all of us. They experience times where they feel disconnected and they feel unloved by source, by spirit. They don't feel that communion in with their spiritual team because it is harder to reach spirit sometimes so that you can grow. I feel like a lot of you are really growing, and this also may be because we have the Lovers in reverse and this King of Cups in reverse. That's why I feel that some of you are twin flames, and that you may be having a difficult time with the twin flame journey. You may either have been in separation from a person that you feel that you are meant to be with for a long time, or for others of you, you just may feel disconnected from romantic relationships in general and feel somewhat jaded to experiencing romance. There may be some disconnect from just feeling love, and you're recognizing that it's not just in romantic relationships, but this disconnect is happening in many other spaces. And that's why you're kind of been trying to rely emotionally on a lot of your spiritual guidance, and right now they're saying, okay, hands off. We're trying to communicate to you where you can invest emotionally and romantically and all of these situations in your dream space. So a lot of your dream spaces may be a lot more metaphorical. They may be kind of translating to you different situations in life and different places in your life where you could be investing more of your time to enable yourself to feel love and to feel connection with other people outside of just isolating yourself and feeling cut off to romantic connections or feeling love in many other spaces. Because again, right here we have this Five of Pentacles, which I haven't even touched on, but it's coming through with this energy because it's showing me that you have done some self-isolation. I feel that this is possibly circumstantial because of what's happening in 2020 and the way that this like virus and everything has made a lot of us have to reconstruct our like social lives. But I feel that you could receive this love if you wanted to go out of your way to find it, but I feel that you have cut yourself off from it in a way, and that's kind of what your dreams are trying to tell you at this moment. They're trying to tell you, like, you may have been dreaming of people even. You may have been dreaming of a romantic connection, and this is kind of showing you, okay, well, you're headed in this direction, but are you going to be open to receiving when it comes your way? Because you have to work through the emotional issues that got you to the point of being jaded in the first place. Whew. Okay. Finally, we have Temperance, and Temperance in this deck is just described as balance, and I think that that's a lovely way to describe Temperance. But there is another aspect of Temperance, which is this like disciplined, moderated side of reality, and these cards specifically are talking about the way that this manifests in the physical. These are more the dream space. This is more the advice that the dreams are trying to give to you, but this is how it manifests in the physical. And with this Temperance card coming through, I do think that this is talking about possibly if you're experiencing blockages in your third eye or in dream interpretation. For some of you, this may be laying off on substances. Can help us feel that spiritual connection. They sometimes drain us of our energy that enables us to do dream work and to interpret our dreams effectively. So maybe laying back on some of that. If you have any issues with like your night routine or the way that you treat your body before you go to sleep, or the things that you do on your way to sleep, maybe investing more in creating that like sacred space before you go to sleep. So sometimes that could be like cleansing your space with music. I do feel like there is something that like some kind of protection, some kind of cleansing that you're going to be able to incorporate into a nighttime routine that is going to help you get into a more connected state of your subconscious. I feel like your subconscious on some level goes into that rest period, and you automatically, because of the dedication that you have to spiritual commitment, like to that spiritual journey, your subconscious wants to spiritually connect, but there's something that is keeping you from being able to do that immediately when you get into the dream space. Sorry, I'm just changing out this incense because I do want this space to be protected. There may be things beyond your control that are kind of, I don't know, trying to stray your perspective or challenge your faith. This is also being reflected in the star card. I feel like there are things that are kind of challenging your faith and your faith in the spiritual realm to carry you through. And these are both very strong and spiritual cards that came through for you. So I do feel, yeah, just that there's this like discipline that you need to have to kind of create that like structure before you go to sleep so that you can safely integrate all of these very powerful energies that are trying to be delivered to you right now. I was very honored to read for you. I want to thank your higher self, your higher guides, your higher wisdom, anyone that came through to help facilitate this reading and help me deliver the messages that you needed to hear. All of my personal information and any like personal bookings are going to be in the description below. Otherwise, we're going to move on to pile 3, and I will see you in another video. Bye. Hello, group 3 or pile 3. If you selected this purple fire opal, then this is going to be your reading. We're going to set this off to the side. And fire opal, I think, especially in the purple form that it is here, this is just talking about strength, spiritual strength as well. I feel that a lot of you may have a kind of complicated relationship with the dream world, with the spirit world, with connecting in with other dimensional realities through dream space. For some of you, I'm feeling that there may be some like past trauma that has to do with like night terrors or like night sweats, just something that has to do with a very unsettling feeling that like kind of coincides with the dream space. And it's just more of like, I feel a karmic thing that you were kind of bonded into at the beginning of your life, so that you may, you know, we make contracts with our higher selves, we make contracts with our physical manifestations that we walk into, and I feel that you may have contracted at some point in your life to get through some kind of karma, instead of having it play out physically, have it play out in the spirit world, and that may have affected your emotional self and had you work through those emotions without actually having to have the experience in the physical, because it was something that was so minuscule and lingering that you felt that you could work it out spiritually instead of working it out physically. There's a lot of that I feel happens, and you may be a more introverted person, and that's why your like spiritual guidance does come to you a lot through your dreams, a lot more than other people, whereas other people feel the presence of their spirit guides, the presence of other spirits and spiritual beings in their physical presence in their everyday like day-to-day life. You may not feel that as much, and you may feel a little bit more alone in this physical realm because your spirit guides kind of contact you more through your like dream space. Let's get just a look at the cards before I go off too much. And these cards that I'm placing down here are from a deck that I created. I'll post more about that on my Instagram, so if you want to go check that out, you can. But these I'm not going to take reverse because they are oracle cards, and I'm just going to lay the rest out. So we also have cards from the Angel Tarot, a reversed card. Okay, so that's the Knight of Swords, the Ten of Wands upright, and then the Knight of Wands upright, and then we have the the Wildwood Tarot. And let me make sure that these are all laying out in a way that you can see. Okay, so hopefully these are all in view. I know that this one's a little bit covered up, but I'll pull it out if I talk about it. So these cards are more grounded, and these ones are going to talk about how your dream space is manifesting in the physical, and then these ones over here are a little bit more airy, a little bit more like dreamy, kind of past life-y. I feel that they're not really grounded so much in our current modern reality. So these ones are going to be talking more about our dream space, and this is just the overall messages that kind of go along with our dreams. So I'll read everything out and then start interpreting. I accept my reality for exactly how it is. This releases me from anguish and allows me to transform. This card says, my head and heart communicate freely. I allow my thoughts to engage with my feelings in harmony. And then we have, I attract the opportunities I desire easily. Well, like I said before, okay, you have these things that you may have done a lot of like spiritual growth and progress in your dreams in the past. And that's why this Knight of Swords right here is coming up, and it says drama. So I do feel like that's almost like your higher self kind of blocking you off from having to do a lot of spiritual progression in your dream space, because you're trying to give your mind more of a break. You may have been very tired and not quite so lucid in your childhood, which may have made it difficult for you to focus and interpret your reality effectively as a child, because of all this spiritual transformation that you were doing every single night, and the fear that you had built up around the nighttime in general, that like fear that would make other fear-based energies kind of feed off of you in the spiritual realm. So because of that, now your dreams are a lot more physically based and kind of focused in this specific form-based dimensional reality. And now that you aren't having those terror dreams, you're kind of worried about having anything to do with like spiritual work in the dream, like in the dreamscape, because of that like fear that used to come up. So something that's trying to be communicated to you through this readings, a lot of you, I feel, don't recognize the manifesting ability that you have in the dream space and the ability to lucidly control. So I've used that word a couple times now, in terms of talking about your specific relationship to the dream space. And I feel that lucid dreaming is going to be something that will be extremely effective for you if you have not already, either you were not born with that ability or you have not done any work with it. Lucid dreaming is going to help you a lot gain control of your physical reality in your everyday, and help you kind of manifest what you need, but also meditate in on conversations that you're having with people and conversations that you're having with yourself, to help you kind of get a little bit more clarity of thought when it comes to navigating the realities. I feel like it's really easy, but it's really easy for you to kind of like go in and out of reality. And I'm feeling this like Neptune, or Neptune or Pluto. So it's kind of this watery, so either Scorpio or like Pisces, but those two more spiritual, kind of like hidden, occulty type energies, like, are things that are double-sided to you. There's like a double-edged sword, because it brings up a lot of trauma for you whenever you are doing that, because I do feel like you have a lot of shadow work that was done when you were young. Anyway, I feel I've already touched on that. So we have justice here, which is the wood word, I believe. No, is it? I think actually this is strength. Excuse me, because strength is card 11. I'm sorry. So this is strength. We have the 10 of Wands. Yeah, it's just, that's why I feel you have this complicated relationship with your dreams. It is something that kind of burdens you throughout the day. So when you wake up from one of those dreams when you were younger, or if you still experience some of these like tears or sweats, or like even you could have like sleep apnea or something, there's something that is very burdensome about sleep to you and about that rest period. There's something that is just, it's also like you may be reliving some kind of trauma through your dreams. And yeah, the candle just flickered. I do feel like there are some kind of trauma things that are coming up for you it's not to make you relive it. And the sooner that you acknowledge this trauma and acknowledge that you're experiencing it, the sooner that you can work with it in the physical, is what I'm getting. That if you acknowledge this part of your subconscious that is trying to be communicated to you, you're going to be able to do the work with it in order to release it and figure out what purpose it's serving, so that it doesn't have to keep being in your energetic systems. And this Knight of Wands, again, is some kind of spirit guide. I do feel like this is more ancestral, so you could be seeing somebody who's passed on, or if it's not ancestral, it is a deceased human spirit that is trying to communicate with you, somebody that I do feel like you knew in this life, that is trying to communicate to you through your dreams, so that they can either be reincarnated, just be reincarnated, or go on as somebody else's spirit guide, or do work with you as a spirit guide. So there's somebody that is trying to communicate to you through your dreams. So look out for this person in your dreams. If you've been having dreams regarding this person, they are trying to get, because they are underneath this card, I do feel that they are trying to get you to understand your feelings and integrate your feelings so that your everyday life can be a lot more harmonious. This also could have to do and relate to this person's death or the relationship that you had with this person in life. So take that as it resonates. If that isn't for you, it's a message for somebody here. This is also contributing to your spirituality before I move on. In terms of your physical realm and how this is manifesting for you now, we have the green man or the emperor, which is the masculine form of nature. This is the destructive force, and it's right next to the tower or the blasted oak in this deck. And this is, again, talking about, you see this branch, it broke off and this person is falling to the floor and they have fire coming from them. So it is something that is quick. It's something that inspires this passionate emotional response from you, and it is something that I feel has burnt you in some way, and you are feeling like kind of like vulnerable to these energies, and it's almost like you can't get away from it. So it's like you're trying to just allow yourself to relax in your dream space, but then it comes up again. So you're reliving something through different themes that are being presented to you in the dream realm, whether this is just feelings that you're getting while you're sleeping. It doesn't even have to be a visionary experience of like a traditional dream, but you are living out these same things that you have experienced in real life through your dream space to try and get you to understand the emotions and the next steps that you want to take in your reality. So it is trying to break these things down and trying to point things out to you. Also, if you want to do work with whatever is trying to be revealed to you, I'm getting the idea that scrying is going to be good for you, or some kind of like automatic writing as well. Just channeling things is important for this experience. And then again, we have here Seven of Wands, which is clearance. And Seven of Wands is another way to say standing your ground and allowing things to leave. So if you have a certain person in your life, this also, if this is not a person that you had issues with who has passed on, this could be a person in your physical reality that you're having issues with. This also could be like some parent or something. It's some kind of like older energy, or someone that like maybe you've had issues with for a long time and you don't really know how to reconcile this relationship, but something is coming up in your dream space that is trying to get you to understand a greater pattern, or a greater way that this has been manifesting for you. So this is showing you, okay, like this is what's happening. This is kind of, it's like the fire under your bum, like maybe not that, but like the fire under your feet makes you like kind of move. Like somebody's pushing you and urging you, and it's getting uncomfortable for a reason to get you to pay attention. I feel like it's not going to take all that long once you do start paying attention. And this is getting you to really understand in a greater sense how suffering and how pleasure can coexist in reality and how they feed off of each other. But right now, I feel specifically you're in a place where it's this more destructive, tumultuous energy, and it may not make all that much sense to you at first. But the more that you sit in with it and you ask your spiritual guides, okay, please deliver this to me clearly, help me understand, you will start to notice the ways in which those questions are answered in your physical reality, because I do feel like your dreams and your physical are a continuous story, and they go together and they work towards your greater purpose and your liberation simultaneously. Finally, with this Strength card, this strength is pointing to me that the emotional work is never stopping for a reason, because it's showing you where you need to be later on in life and showing you your life's purpose, how it integrates in with healing your emotional self. And that's why this is getting you to learn, getting you to progress, and getting you to see the bigger picture, because this guy is looking over the land. He's seeing everything for what it is. And I do feel like this is a past life experience that you have signed yourself on for. And it is something that like karmically you've asked to experience. And that's why your dreams are so interconnected with your physical life, because you need to understand how the physical manifests our spiritual awakening and our spiritual journeys, and you can't divorce the spiritual side of your experience in with the physical. This is why your experience in the physical, you also could be an earth sign. I'm picking up, I know that I've picked up a couple signs in this pile, but I do feel that this earth energy, this I'm really only seeing it in the sun position, but that earth energy of your ego is trying to get you to see how important the physical world is for your spiritual self. I would like to thank your higher guides, your higher wisdom, your higher self that came in and through me to facilitate this reading, and then also my guides. I also want to thank you. I have so much gratitude in my heart for you. Also, all of my personal information is going to be in the description if you would like to reach out to me for a personal reading. I will see you in another video. Bye.